is KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank.
All right, folks, what's good? We are back. Another episode, Ain't No Seats podcast, and the Hawks are 5-1. I'm just going to get right to it. They're 5-1. They are very, I don't know, are they, I should have done more research. Are they very clearly the third best team in the Big 12? I mean, is there any...
Been thinking about that all weekend and today. I know a lot of people have said West Virginia, but they haven't played anyone. I don't think Neil Brown's a great coach. They don't have a great QB. Yeah, like AB said, the standings. We got to be up there. I think K-State kind of maybe deserves a pass for Friday night. I know they're not as good as they were last year. They lost to Mizzou. Mizzou's a good team. I think they just were off Friday night. So I don't know if I want to quite give up on K-State, but obviously we're biased and we're going to say KU is better. So I think we obviously make a great case. I'm trying to think of other teams if you guys have any to throw out, but I'd take KU right now behind OU and Texas.
Yeah. I mean, didn't mean to get us into a real quick debate on whether or not we were the third best team in the Big 12, but the fun part about it is it's very much a real conversation to be having. And I think if you flash back, a week ago, I think it was just me and AB here, and we were talking about how this UCF game, still questions on Jalon. We thought, their guy did come out and start, but obviously was not 100%, but it felt like a game that could truly swing this season in a really bad direction if KU came out and did not show up, but boy, did they show up. That's one of the more electric performances that KU football has had in a long time. I think, we kind of said after the 4-0 start that have we really seen our A game yet?
That was it.
And I think we saw it, or pretty dang close. And the best part about it is Jalon Daniels wasn't even playing. So I guess I'll start with you, B-Turn. Just give me your thoughts. Does it change expectations at all? Are you where you were as of 2 weeks ago? Are you where you were as of last week? Where are you at with this team?
Yeah, I agree with you that it's kind of was a season-defining game. KU loses, they would have been 4-2, would have had to scratch off 2 more wins to go to bowl eligible. We would have had a losing record in the league. Now you're 5-1, a win away from being bowl eligible for the second time in program history. It's crazy. And now we have a winning record in the league, and now you can make those arguments that KU's up near the top of the league. UCF was favored. They needed to win this game desperately. They had a vet quarterback, an experienced coach. They came in as an underdog, and KU just hat on hat, every play dominating. UCF knows KU's running the ball every play. Devin Neal, Daniel Highshaw, McDuffie obviously came in too, but 51 carries for 399 rushing yards, 7.8 a pop, 5 rushing touchdowns. We had 91 passing yards. Jason Bean threw for 91 yards. If you say that before the game, I feel like you start thinking Texas again. Jason Bean did nothing through the air, but you rushed for 399 yards, and McDuffie had 2 touchdowns. Highshaw 2 touchdowns. Neal 12 for 154. He literally could have had 300 rushing yards if they kept him in. Now he's fresh. It was insane, man. Like I said, UCF knew we were running it, still couldn't stop it. It was unbelievable. We did whatever we wanted, and it's just wild thinking how far this offense has come and this program's come in a few years. We always talk about how much beefier the players look now and how dominant. 2 years ago, I remember, when we were at 2-10 with Lance, I remember going down to Stillwater and we were trying to implement the running game, couldn't do it. They dominated us, and now we're just going hat on hat against a team we're a dog against and blowing them out, putting up 50 points. When you throw for 90 yards the entire game, it's wild to me. And with the gap they've closed it to, going from by far the worst team in the league to now we're having top 3 discussions. And the 2 teams that are ahead of us are leaving the league after this year. It's wild to think about. And I'm so excited, man.
Yeah. AB, you can give your overall thoughts also, but one thing that stood out to me is me and you last week talked about Jason Bean. And, I think we were fair. We said he was thrown into a tough spot, not a lot of prep heading into that game, but also we said, okay, now's the time, if we're going to sit around and say Jason Bean is one of the best backup quarterbacks in the country, now's the time you have to see that value. He's got to come in and he's got to win this game for you if he truly is an elite backup quarterback in the standards of the rest of the country. And it's an interesting thing because, like B-Turn said, he had 91 yards, but also seemed to be way more locked in with decision-making. He was really good, obviously. So where are you at with, I don't know, was Saturday Andy Kotelnicki just being incredibly well prepared? Was it Bean being really good? Was it all the O-line? I mean, what were your takeaways from just the dominance of the offense?
It's a mix of everything when you win by that much. But we said it last week too. We're never going to talk shit on the play call and Kotelnicki, the staff in general. But we did say, against Texas, clearly Bean wasn't doing it. But we ran the ball super well, it felt like, and they just didn't do it enough. And now it was really, really good to see them commit to the running game. How many passes did Bean throw?
12. 8 for 12.
It's insane. It's just it clearly works. It's clearly what the talent on the roster, the running back room we've talked about for 2 years now is one of the deepest in the conference, at least, if not the country. And it just felt like it's bread and butter. Braiden said it, UCF knew it was coming every single time, and they just shoved it down their throats. Who cares? We're going to run right through you. And if that's the attitude we're going to have, that's very different than a lot of teams in the Big 12 play. So, it's not. And when we were between Lance and, was it Munkin? Is that his name for Army?
Yeah.
I was kind of Team Munkin because I was like, look, we're not going to succeed trying to do the same thing that these other teams above us are doing. K-State did it too. They played a very different style of ball. And obviously it could be an outlier. It was one game. I don't think UCF's run defense is anything that they're happy with, but it's like an identity stamped on the team, hopefully, regardless of who's quarterback, JD, Jason. I love it. Run the ball, control the clock, limit possessions against the big teams like Texas, Oklahoma. It's a way to win. It's a recipe to win, and I'm all in for it.
Every running back that touched the ball averaged over 7 a carry on Saturday. All 3 running backs had 12-plus carries, and they all averaged 7 or more. They even got Lawrence Arnold involved, who had a carry for 10 yards. So it was unbelievable. And, yeah, like you said, UCF knew it was coming. You would think stack the box, make Jason Bean beat you, and they did stack the box, and they're still handing it off and getting that many a pop. And, yeah, you talked about last week, and I feel like people don't really understand how tough and unique that situation was. You have a whole week drawing up plays. They always talk about Kotelnicki on Mondays, how he draws up all these plays, and you're getting prepared for Jalon Daniels, one of the best quarterbacks in the country, to play. Last second, the day of he gets hurt or whatever's going on, Jason Bean kind of have to wing it with the playbook, and we obviously struggled. I think Bean was 4 for 13 throwing it at one point. We didn't run a play in Texas territory until the fourth quarter. So it was a really unique, tough situation to just wing it at the last second, and I feel like got to give the offense and Kotelnicki a pass for that Texas game. And the fact that KU was still in the game late in the third quarter is wild. But, yeah, that was such a weird situation last week, and now you have a whole week to prepare. Bean's the starter. You scheme guys open. You have Bean make simple throws. The throws he made he made a couple deep throws, but there's a lot of stuff around the line of scrimmage. And, yeah, they having a whole week to prepare for who the quarterback actually is going to be is just such a massive thing.
I think one thing we've talked about before that was really exciting about Lance and the staff when they came here was one year they were a dominant rushing team at Buffalo. One year they were great passing the ball. They were good in different areas, and I feel like maybe that's a trend. If we see Bean for a longer period of time, maybe this team's identity can become just a run-it-down-your-throat team. I don't know. It certainly felt like that was possible. It still blows my mind. You talked about a B-turn, but to think that Kansas football played a game where they just completely overpowered another Big 12 opponent is just mind-blowing when you think about how overmatched we used to be.
I'm telling you, if I texted you guys in the group or we were on the pod last week and I told you guys that Jason Bean was going to throw for 90 yards, we would imagine we lose at least by double digits, right? I mean, we know how good those running backs are in Highshaw and Neal, but two guys that I do this podcast with seemed a little nervous going into this UCF game, which you should be. I mean, quarterback questions. Jason Bean, he's put up numbers, but how many games has he really won as the starter? We're not knocking him at all, but you say before the game, 90, we're going to throw for less than 100 yards against UCF tomorrow. If I told you that Friday night, what would you have thought the outcome would be?
I would have thought we saw a very similar performance as we did against Texas, which was just a lot of plays where he's overthrowing guys, where we're running read options all game that aren't working. It would have. It's crazy to think that we won the game the way we won it. Now, I was going to throw this question out. Do you think during the week while Kotelnicki was prepping, obviously there was an emphasis to go out and run the ball and I think keep things simple for Jason Bean, but do you think the game plan was to be that heavy on the run, or was it just something where it's like, well, keeps working, let's just keep doing it, and they simply never figured out how to stop it?
I don't know if it was. It could. I'd like to think it was, but it couldn't have been, right?
We're going to run the ball 50 plus times.
Yeah.
Right. From the jump, they were up big. There was never really, once KU was up 14-0 or 17-0, whatever it was, I think 17-0. There was never a moment where UCF felt like they were in the game. So maybe it had to do with that, but I'd like to think it was just straight up with the personnel they had and matchups they saw. And we're just very committed to it, because I think that's a good thing. And also, we didn't talk about it. Oh, imagine the play action next week, boys. Just imagine the play action when teams start putting 9 in the box and we can get Luke Grimm running a little in and out, and he's wide open for 70.
Fairchild over the seam, all of it.
Jared Casey sneaky being a little too quiet for my liking. I feel a massive game coming not quiet in an aspect. He's playing incredible.
How good is he in the run game?
His blocking downfield is just so fun to. That guy just finds someone and just blasts them. He's incredible. He's another guy, and I think I comment this probably once every other pod, but it's so funny looking back on the Texas game, his body shape to what he looks like now. It's just crazy. Not even from a coaching standpoint, the way these guys on this team have developed physically has also been incredible to watch. Just everything went right. Trevor Wilson returns what was it? See, this is where I left for the wedding and I missed. It was the punt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a punt. But that stuff never happens.
It was the first time since 2014.
I was going to ask.
Really?
I think I heard that.
That was, I'll be honest, I was pretty devastated because obviously I'm at a wedding and it's just I watched the first half or the first quarter, and it's just every time I check Twitter, I check the score, something else exciting was happening. It was just an absolute pumping for every second of the game. Now, it was also nice that I didn't have to stress at all while we're at a game. While Alabama was in a tight game, as I'm at an Alabama wedding, so there was no shot I was watching this game. But yeah, everything went right. The Trevor Wilson punt return, incredible.
Right.
Running game. Any other thoughts on it, B-turn?
Well, Ryan, I was going to say, I don't know if you saw this, but Kenny Logan was inches away from breaking a kickoff return to the house. He should have scored on it. And every time he touches he hasn't returned too many kicks this year. They haven't even put him back there. But I swear, every time that dude catches a kickoff and decides to take it, it's an electric return. We've seen him take some back close to midfield, but he's electric in the kick return game. Like you said, we've been waiting on KU's A game, and it felt like every aspect on Saturday it really was an A game. I know Seth Keller missed his first kick of the year. I didn't even see that, but defensively, I saw someone after the game was saying a little worried about how many yards and points we gave up late. It's really not a huge deal. They're up comfortably the whole game. Like AB said, it was never in doubt. You're gonna give up yardage when you're up that much. You're gonna kind of sit back defensively. So they rushed for 200 yards. That's going to be an emphasis against Oklahoma State because they're going to try to get Ollie Gordon going. But A game from all aspects. The defense late in the second half really didn't matter. It was kind of like the Illinois game where you're up so much and they're going to put drives together. It's college football. So yeah, A game from coaching staff from the O-line, running back room being made solid decisions. The defense was great. They had 4 sacks. Austin Booker was a machine again. 2 TFLs, 1 sack. It's one of the biggest steals KU's gotten from the portal in quite some time, I think. Got him from
Talk about a specimen. I mean, that guy is he just looks like an NFL player.
Did you guys see Gage Keys' tweet after the game? So Gage Keys came from Minnesota with Austin Booker, and Gage Keys kind of said, imagine not playing this guy. And it was kind of a shot at Minnesota, how he wasn't playing there. Now he's here balling out. And it's been a joy to watch. But yeah, that's such a huge pickup by this staff to get a guy like Austin Booker.
And that's what, I mean, even just outside of this season, it's so exciting to think about how good this staff has been at identifying talent in the portal, and to think that, yeah, we may see a bunch of guys leave after this year, but I'm pretty confident the staff can go out and find good replacements.
And how much does it, like, obviously the talent matters, but I feel like anyone they get is going to progress on the field and in the weight room. Like, a lot of these guys right now are from the previous staff. I mean, Lawrence Arnold, Luke Grimm, the running backs, Highshaw and Neal, the quarterbacks were already here before they got here. So it's just wild. They're going to develop talent, and hopefully recruits around the area start to notice that, and just around the country. I think, like we talked about it a couple of episodes ago with the portal. I mean, you could offer playing time to a lot of guys on defense, on offense too. I think our NIL situation's great right now. So you go bowling back-to-back years, we shouldn't have any problem getting guys to come into Kansas right now. I mean, a lot of these guys could return next year. And yeah, it's just exciting to think about all the progress they've made since they got here, and where we could be in a couple of years if this staff sticks around for a while.
Yeah.
See, why can't we be one of the top teams in the Big 12? It sounds crazy because of how bad we've been, but we always say that, how we're all hesitant to get our hopes up for how good this program could be. Why can't we be one of the best teams in the league when OU and Texas leave?
Yeah, there's really
us, State, UCF.
Yeah, there's not a reason to think that
Utah.
I mean, we can talk more KU State, but like, yes, they're clearly the better program, but there's nothing about their there's no reason that if KU just keeps it going that they can't be at the same level or better down the road than K-State is. I'm just saying.
Why not?
Yeah, I mean, I don't, but all right. Won't you think on that a little bit, AB? We're going to take a quick break. I want to talk about maybe that, but also we got to talk Jalon Daniels. So let's take a quick break, but talk about, before we take the official break, talk about Home Field. We say it every week, Home Field Apparel, they're the best college sports apparel company out there, and I don't think it's remotely close. I say it all the time. They've got the most unique designs. You can go look for KU gear on just the main websites. You're not going to find things that are unique at all. It's all going to be cookie cutter. Home Field, they bring it every time. All their updates are incredible. They bring in the old school Jayhawk. B-turn, I know that's probably not Home Field that you have on there, but you've got a couple different Jayhawks on you right there, and Home Field is always taking those types of things and trying to get into just incredible gear that we could never even fathom. We also say even K-State, even Missouri, even Idaho, they've got fire gear that you're always going to be interested in. Like, you see a new drop with Home Field, you're going to be peeking at it, even if it's not your school. So I'm telling you, if you haven't by now, which would be insane if you haven't, go check out homefieldapparel.com. They've got a wide selection of colleges. If you got family that's fans of other teams, buy them this for Christmas. We got Christmas already coming up, boys. People forget. It's coming. All right. So go represent. Go buy their hoodies. Their hoodies are soft. I love them. Necks are nice.
We've been messing with Home Field before they were even, like, this has been a thing that's been going on for years. So we love them. We put our family, our friends on, and for good reason. Like, their stuff is unique. Their stuff's comfortable. It's so good. Us been before they became a sponsor. So yeah, every school in the country, all their stuff is great. So yeah, we love them so much.
Yep. So check them out, homefieldapparel.com. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back.
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network. Make sure you download our new app. Find it on the App Store or Google Play. Just search KC Sports Network.
All right, I'm not going to take us in a direction of debating on when KU can become a better program than K-State. It's just not something I have the energy for. But what I do want to talk about, and I'll be honest, I was flying all day yesterday. I was working all day today. I've been pretty out of the news game. I guess what is the latest on Jalon? I don't think there's much, right? We really don't know. But how do we feel about that situation? Like, I don't feel confident we'll see him this weekend. Do you guys have anything that'll change my mind?
Yeah, I mean, the staff says day to day they're going to keep things close to vest, little gamesmanship going on. Some of the fans don't like it, but I mean, why do our fans deserve to know what's going on with him day by day instead of just playing gamesmanship and messing with other teams and having them prepare for two quarterbacks? So I know it's frustrating, but it's just something good coaches do around the country. I mean, you guys have seen it for a long time. This staff has done it since day one. So I truly really don't know what's going on. I mean, I knew he wasn't going to play against UCF, probably not going to play against Oklahoma State. I think the goal since that this happened in Austin was to get him back for the Oklahoma game. You got a bye week the week before. Be freaking massive to have him back for that game, because I don't know if we can ground and pound against OU like we just did, and hopefully do Saturday against Oklahoma State. But yeah, I truly don't know. There's a respected guy on Jayhawks Slant who said he was in Lawrence Saturday and heard that JD would be out for a while. JK, the head guy on the football board, kind of responded to that and said he truly doesn't think anyone would know what's going on. So he kind of shot that down a little bit. I think that's the case, man. I really they don't want this getting out. I don't think anyone besides the coaches really know what's going on. And JD, that was the thing last year. I think only JD and the staff really knew. So I don't know what you guys have, but I just don't know.
AB,
remember last year when that guy tweeted out that he would be out for the season and everyone killed him, and then he was
disappeared.
Pretty right, wasn't he?
He played in the bowl. Yeah, he played late. He played against K-State. And then the bowl game, he played at K-State.
Yeah, he played against K-State.
But I don't think anyone's going to try and break this story. I think we're just stuck with what they tell us and what we see. Sadly.
Yeah, started against Texas too when Bijan ran all over us.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, so AB, the guy was very wrong.
Well,
he played the last 3 games.
No, sure, but when
he was out for the year.
What do you say back to that, Anthony? Come on, give us some.
That wasn't my main point.
Yeah, I know. It was not as much a shot at AB. It was just more of I think it shows that trying to be someone that goes out and breaks news with this staff and the way they conceal information is just a bold move. And I think a lot of it's guessing and, just taking a shot, because I don't think the staff is telling anybody anything. And I'm not convinced they truly just don't know. The way it all happened with Texas just felt so weird that I do think you can either go the conspiracy route, which I'm not going to go. My route is just that something fluky happened with his back that they did not see coming at all. Something bad happened, and now they're just kind of sitting there trying to figure out what the best next step is and how to get him back smoothly. My favorite, I got a text yesterday bringing out the whole UCLA rumor. You remember that one last year that Jalon was actually going to transfer to UCLA. Heard that one again.
Well, yeah, that's been popping around from a lot of fans. They think he's sitting and he's going to go to Michigan State with Lance Leipold, and it's just wild to me because this dude could have transferred in the offseason and got big money NIL wise. Now you're 4-0 heading to Austin, biggest game of his career. Obviously wants to go pro, would help his draft stock if he balls out. KU's ranked, and now he wants to decide to transfer when you're 4-0 because he can technically redshirt. Yeah, it's wild to me.
This dude is 4-0, and he's a good season away in a bowl game win away from truly going down in history as next to Todd Reesing, he'll be one of the most beloved Kansas football. He already will be. Like, if he just finishes out his career at Kansas, regardless of what happens, Jalon Daniels is going to be one of the most beloved Jayhawks of all time. So to think that, and I get it, he's from California, but I can't believe some of the stuff that I've read. I hate that we're even giving it any sort of discussion, but
there's just a lot of different things circulating right now. Just a lot of different time frames, a lot of transfer stuff, which isn't true. A lot of different injury stuff, like what the injury could be, kind of like last year. Someone close to the program that's been right on a lot of things was saying the other day, like, JD's good. He told me JD's good. He could honestly be back for this Oklahoma State game. And then I talked to him today, and he says this could be an early November thing where he's back early November. So it's like, does anyone know besides in the building? I don't think there's any way. I mean, the guys that are super connected to the program, obviously like Vern and Bry, I truly don't think they know. I talk to Vern every day. So I don't know. It's crazy. There's so many different things circulating. I guess you got to see it play out. People are coming up with conspiracies. I had someone that's a diehard fan that's close to the team trying to tell me that JD was getting loaded in Austin, partying. Now he's facing a suspension, 2-3 game suspension for something he did in Austin, which obviously isn't true, but there's just so many things going around.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think it all comes down to it's a back injury, and back injuries are weird, and they are hard to overcome, and they're hard to predict. Like, you can get out of a car weird and mess up your back. Like, there's so many ways that you can just tweak a back, and that's just the take I'm gonna roll with. Now, the thing about it is, you said, our coaches are obviously, they don't give up information, which is fair, but also what comes with that is this. It's if you release nothing, you're gonna get conspiracy theories and dumb things flying around, which is fine. It really affects KU football in no way, but that's just kind of what comes with being so close to the vest when it comes to all these types of things.
I kind of wanted your guys' take on that, kind of what I said about the gamesmanship. Like, would you rather KU play gamesmanship and have the other team on their toes preparing for 2 quarterbacks, even if they think they know who's starting? Or would you rather have them give the fans a daily update on JD because we deserve that? Like, wouldn't you rather just do we deserve to know what's going on with Jalon Daniels every single day?
No, but I'd like to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I 100% agree with what Lance is doing, but on the day-to-day for us, it's just like so annoying to just not know. And it's been this for half of our games over the last 2 years.
But also, like, is there any point to it? They really just don't have much of an update. Like, I also think that's very possible. Some of it. Now, obviously,
yeah, but it's like if
they did it week one.
If you don't have much of an update, then don't say he's day to day, because it doesn't seem like an injury where he's going to wake up one morning and be like, "Oh, he's fine now. He's good to go." So I don't think he's actually day to day. They're just saying that.
The week 1 thing was kind of wild. I mean, we had no idea. And then you walk in the stadium and announce on the video board that Jalon Daniels is a starter. And then obviously that didn't happen. But I got one more thing on the injury situation. I don't know if you guys have paid attention or know this, but Bryce started a random Twitter rumor about JD hurting his back in the Frosted Flakes thing or whatever the thing. And K-State fans have totally ran with it. Somebody
asked me at a game, like, is it true that happened? And I'm like, are you kidding me? And I didn't know Bryce started that rumor. I hadn't even heard it, but it was hilarious. For people that don't know, there was a rumor that Jalon got hurt throwing a football out of the stadium at the booth.
No, a lot of KU fans believe it, and I think people that are probably listening to this, some people do, just because that's social media. They see something from a respected guy who's been right on things. And they're gonna, but yeah, K-State fans think he is hurt from the commercial, and I guess I want people to know that that's not true. But I guess it would be funny to keep running with it because Bry has had this going on for like 2 months now.
Yeah, it's crazy. But that, in a weird way, shows you how bad Kansas football is, because that's such a KU football or KU basketball thing. Like, think of all the theories with Remy Martin and all the stuff that was flying around back then. Like, it's just great to be in a spot where, as annoying as it is, people care enough about KU football to be this invested and throwing around rumors and stuff. Okay, we got to head in. We're going to talk a little bit about DraftKings here, AB.
Yeah, we are.
We are going to take another break, but take it away, AB.
Speaking of things that it's got to be, or like people that it's annoying to, that JD's hurt and all like the lack of news, do these bookmakers have any idea what to put the line at for anything? But if you want to take advantage of it, the NFL season is going strong, and DraftKings Sportsbook is hooking new customers up with an offer that's even stronger. If you bet $5 on any game this week, you score $200 instantly in bonus bets. DraftKings isn't stopping there. All customers can take advantage of an even sweeter offer every game day this October. Upcoming games, I mean, boys, it's a loaded slate coming up. It just always is. It's college football. It's Saturday. It's NFL. The games only get better in the NFL as the year goes on. I know Braden's excited. We're sneaky halfway through college football. Enjoy it while you can, boys, because it's going quick. Get in on the game day greatness. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code KCSN. New customers can score $200 instantly in bonus bets when you bet $5 on the NFL. That's code KCSN only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort. Licensee partner, Golden Nugget Lake Charles in Louisiana. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gambling resources. That's DraftKings Sportsbook, boys.
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network. Make sure you download our new app. Find it on the App Store or Google Play. Just search KC Sports Network.
Wow. What a read. What a read by AB.
Legend.
So, we got Oklahoma State coming up. It's a game that, I mean, had K-State gone in Friday and won that game like we all thought by double digits, we'd probably be sitting here, kind of already fist pumping like, boys, we're going to be 6-1, and it's going to be game day at the booth when OU comes to town. And I don't know. Whoever wants to take it can take it, but like, what's the deal with Oklahoma State? Are they kind of back? Does K-State stink? We're favored by a little bit. What's AB? You seem ready. Give me your take.
I still don't think they're that good. They might be better. They tried, they didn't know who their starting quarterback was going to be going into the year, so they just let everyone have a chance like Michigan did with the coaching staff when Harbaugh was out. They settled on Bowman. But also, maybe a little pass for K-State. We've seen a million upsets in primetime late-night games and still
Friday
blackout. It's just
weird
that
Friday
game,
night, too.
Yeah, and I texted one of my K-State friends before the game. This just feels like it's going to be a competitive game. I know people think K-State rolls. It's just an environment spot, it feels like. So I don't think Oklahoma State's that juiced up for 2:30 on FS1 or whatever the hell we're on this week. Against KU, team football brand-wise is much smaller. They haven't lost at home to KU since 2007. That was a fun game. See that one pretty often. But yeah, I'm not sold on Oklahoma State. And the fact that we're a 4-point road favorite, is that what the line is? 3.5 point road favorite with a backup quarterback? That kind of is Vegas telling us that they also don't think Oklahoma State's very good.
Yeah. The thing I keep thinking about too is and I know different circumstances, injuries, things like that, but I mean, we smoked these guys last year with Jason Bean. And so you got to think Bean's going to come in confident. But I kind of love it. I feel like it is a perfect spot because we are not going to underestimate them, which we should have never, but I think there's a possibility of had they laid an egg against K-State and lose 31-7, that we're kind of sitting there looking ahead. We're hearing about game day rumors. We're hearing about playing OU for a chance to be in tied for first in the Big 12, which is crazy.
I don't even know what Braden's laughing at. I'm giggling along with him because I can't help it.
I just think we smoked these guys last year as all time. Yes, we did.
Killed him.
Bean had that long run. Yeah, that was so cool. Jason Bean stepped up to the challenge. We needed a win. We had to find a win and get to bowl eligible, and that was the last win we won in the regular season. He received a lot of heat last year. I mean, we just weren't winning games with him. He still put up numbers, but yeah, that long run was amazing. Devin Neal had like 30 plus carries for 220. He could have done that last weekend. Before I kind of get into Oklahoma State, I wanted to ask you guys, and I guess you can tell me if it matters or doesn't. Do you think Oklahoma State winning the K-State game is good for KU or bad?
I think great. Which is kind of what I was getting to while you were having a little chuckle fest over there.
Thinking about us smoking a team is awesome, and I thought that was an all-time line. That was great. Smoke these guys.
We did.
But
I think it's good because I don't know. I'd be interested to hear the other side of it on why it would be bad.
Friday night, you have extra time to rest, I guess. I think you can look at it, if they would have lost, maybe they're just done, given up, probably can't make a bowl game. But I think if you lose, you have extra time to prepare. You're at home. Gundy is a pretty good coach. So I guess you can look at it multiple ways, because maybe the win gives them confidence, but maybe the win kind of brings them back to life. And they maybe you kind of think they can't do it 2 weeks in a row. They can't play that well 2 weeks in a row. But it really felt like a mix of Oklahoma State being better on the defensive side of the ball, but it really felt like K-State just laying an egg on offense. I mean, Will Howard was 15 of 34. He threw 3 picks. They ran the ball really successfully on the ground. Yeah, I agree. Nick just said in the chat that Oklahoma State didn't play well. I don't think they did either. They ran it well, but Bowman was still pretty stinky. Howard was awful. And they had a chance late in that game. Oklahoma State refused to put it away. They were just getting the ball back with a chance to put it away with the first down, running it 3 times and getting like a yard a carry. So they gave K-State every chance to come back. They dropped a 2-point conversion to get it to 6. Shout special prayers to the guy that put 25,000 on the over. God bless the soul. But yeah, Alan Bowman, we talked about Oklahoma State. We always talk about Big 12 teams after episodes, and they kind of were going with 3 QBs with Rangel, Gunnar Gundy, which is an all-time name, and then Alan Bowman, who, AB brought it up. He transferred to Michigan after he was at Texas Tech. He's just never really been that great. Like he had a solid first year at Tech. He makes weird decisions at Iowa. So I was brought up the 3 quarterback thing. They finally decided to just go with Alan Bowman. His 2 starts at Iowa State, he was 23 of 48, 48 completion percentage. He threw 2 picks. K-State on Friday night, he was 19 of 35, 54 completion percentage, no touchdowns. So he's 42 of 83 with a 51 completion percentage and 2 starts, which is just not good. And so I'm just not scared of Alan Bowman at all. Yes, he could ball out. Ollie Gordon's been really good on the ground. I think you commit to stopping the run, stuffing the run, stack the box. You limit that. Make Bowman beat you in the air. I know Brendan Presley is a really dangerous weapon, but I feel really good about this matchup, like insanely good, better than I felt about the BYU game. And I just don't think 3.5 is the right line. Like, I think KU's going to win this game by at least a touchdown, maybe double digits, but I feel so good about this matchup. Even if Bean's the starter, I've been wrong before. I lose plenty of bets in my life. I'm probably 30% all time as a single better. I mean, maybe lower. So I stink, but I feel great about this matchup. I think it's a great match for KU. I thought it would be a 6-7 point favorite. I know we're on the road. Hopefully our fans take over that crowd, but
So that was great. You threw stats out. Well, I'm gonna hit you with some dumb brain analysis. I like to do this during basketball season. I especially like to do this during football season because I know nothing. My dumb brain tells me, is Oklahoma State a team that we said 2 weeks ago sucked? I mean, they were bad. Are they gonna win back-to-back games over ranked opponents in a season that some would say is like their worst year in a long time. I just don't see it happening. That's my dumb brain. And now I don't care who starts at quarterback for us. Oklahoma State isn't going to win back-to-back home games against ranked opponents, and especially 2 ranked opponents from the powerhouse state of Kansas in football. So that's I agree, B-Turn, and I'm terrified of it, that we both feel great about it. So AB, I'll leave it to you. I already know that you feel great about it. So yikes. Give me your thoughts, AB.
I want to take Oklahoma State to win so we don't have like everyone's picking KU. I'm not going to lie, I don't know a whole lot about Oklahoma State matchup-wise other than Alan Bowman's their quarterback, and this Ollie dude likes to run the ball. Why not go win? I think the bye week being after this, it's like you're not saving anything. Like, you have the next week off or at least a few extra days, or I don't know what their practice schedule looks like on a bye week, but just go out there and, I don't know, go in with that mindset and take care of business, go on. If they just play, I think if they play an average game, I think they win this game. So, like,
yeah,
I don't know. One thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you guys have more on Oklahoma State, or can I give like a?
I kind of just wanted to say, Gundy, obviously a great coach. He'd come up with a great game plan. He probably knows Jason Bean's going to be the starter. So, kind of look at the tape, and you're going to know what Kansas is going to try to do. They're going to try to do exactly what they did against UCF and pound the rock. Oklahoma State hasn't been good at stopping the run. I mean, as bad as K-State was Friday, they still had 38 carries for 226 a carry. So K-State was still able to run it with no passing game. So I guess Gundy could go watch the tape and kind of implement a game plan where you try to make Jason Bean beat you with his arm. And maybe they do stuff the run. I don't know, but they haven't been able to do it this year. So I guess that's my only thing is Gundy, you can't underestimate a good coach.
Yeah. I mean, Gundy's always going to be terrifying. Like, he is. He's been around forever. He's good. And Oklahoma State. I mean, we're going to kick the ball off on Saturday, and you're going to just see that orange. You're going to see that logo in the middle of the field. You're going to see those uniforms, and instantly I'm going to be terrified of Oklahoma State again. Like, it'll just bring back all the memories of them just stomping us for years. But I still feel, yeah.
Can I go more dumb brain analysis to kind of give you an opposite thing here?
Mm-hmm.
So you said 2 weeks ago, if we said Oklahoma State, they'd be 2 back-to-back top 25 wins, yada, yada, yada. We say this all the time with this KU football program.
Was K-State ranked?
No, they weren't.
Oh.
They were not.
I wanted to ask that.
That's brain analysis. Oh, no.
Oh,
no. Okay.
We're very, 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 very due for a competitive game. Like, close back and forth. I mean, Nevada, I guess, but like, did anyone ever really feel like they were losing that Nevada game?
Can you imagine?
I'm talking high stakes. KU Twitter's on fire, which it really wasn't for KU Nevada because half the fan base was asleep
or watching Colorado State.
Exactly, yeah. But it just, I mean, go through the games this year. Missouri State blowout, Illinois blowout, Nevada whatever, BYU I guess a little bit close, but like again. And the
very much was roll of it.
Yeah.
I think second half, yeah.
Texas, a little bit back and forth in the third quarter, but again, Texas, I mean, we knew Texas was going to win. And last week, it was never in doubt. So, like, and even last year going back, all the losses, none of them were ever like, we have the ball down by 6, 2.5 minutes to go, let's go get a touchdown and win this game. It was, we're down 14, we just scored to cut it to 7. If we can get a stop, maybe we have a chance. But that's how every loss went last year, it felt like. So, maybe we're just due for a close game. And maybe Oklahoma, I mean, it's just a coin toss in college football. But my dumb brain analogy is 2 years ago, if you said KU would be, beating Oklahoma State back-to-back years, and we're expecting to go on the road against a respected program and just dominate and continue to dominate and be 3-1 in conference with our 3 wins all being double digits, that also feels a little bit crazy. So, like, I don't know. Maybe we're just due for a close one. We'll stop the game.
I wanted to ask you guys about us real quick, just from an offensive standpoint. Yeah.
Okay.
So obviously you rush for 399. You probably can't duplicate that performance. Is KU going to fall off a ton from a rushing standpoint, or does it give KU and that offensive line and the Andy Kotelnicki and those backs just a shit ton of confidence going into this Oklahoma State game and a team that hasn't been able to stop the run? Like, do you think KU's going to be able to be very successful on the ground, or are they due for some regression after last week?
Yes, to both.
Yes, I just think we're at the point where it's hard to doubt this team from a running perspective. We've said it over and over again. Our running backs are incredible. Our line looked obviously UCF is probably not near I don't know. Oklahoma State's weird. It's hard to judge them right now because I'm so used to Oklahoma State just having this incredible talent, and I still think they do to an extent, but I think like AB said earlier I think we're going to come out, we're going to try and keep the running game going, but it's also going to open things up for Bean to actually maybe start to see the pass. I mean, think about Bean. He's had some he definitely makes some bad throws and makes some bad decisions, but he's got a good deep ball, doesn't he? Am I wrong on that? Somebody could roast me on that.
He's got the ability, consistency.
He's thrown some dimes deep, and I could see that being something where we run. They fall asleep. Boom, bomb to Luke Grimm, kind of like AB said earlier. But AB, what do you have on that?
Yeah, I think if regression in its actual term, they might run for 240 yards like K-State did. They're not going to get to 400 again, but I do think that they're going to rely on it big time. I have 2 notes before we go. Quick ones. First of all, the newcomers in the Big 12, they're combined 1-8. And their one win was when BYU beat Cincinnati, so they played each other. None of those teams have beaten a true Big 12 team yet. I don't think that that's going to be I'm not trying to say that once KU starts playing the old Big 12 teams that the season's going to collapse. I don't think that's the case, but it's something to look at that maybe we're just dominating an extended non-con in a way. I hope that's not the case. Number 2, I don't know if we've said this guy's name on the pod, and I never thought I'd say it in KU. Shout out to Sean Snyder. Special teams last year was just awful. And honestly, I wouldn't say it lost us multiple games, but definitely put us in a position where we didn't have a chance to go out and win a game. The K-State game comes to mind, of course, but transition muffed a punt, missed an easy field goal. I just mentioned it. We haven't had a super close game. I'm going to feel a hell of a lot more confident with Seth Keller coming out to kick a 42-yard game-winning field goal than I would with anybody that we've had in the past decade. And that's very comforting feeling to have I didn't even know he missed a field goal on Saturday.
I didn't either until someone said it on YouTube or whatever. I don't know how long it was, but I did look at the box score and he missed one. What off the top of your head, and I know it's tough because we haven't played a really good team besides Texas and they had 660 yards. Off the top of your head, what worries you the most about this team? What would you say is the biggest weakness right now? Something on the defensive side?
We still question the defense for sure.
Through the air or in the run game?
Run game.
Probably the run game. Yeah,
But again, that's against, when I think of it, that's Texas gashing us. I don't think Oklahoma State's going to be able to just do the same thing that Texas can, and Oklahoma might be able to in a few weeks.
I just feel our defense is so. I just feel all aspects right now I feel so good about. Coaching, offense, defense, special teams. I feel great about, I'm not saying the defense is one of the best in the country or in the league, but I still feel fine about them just bending and not breaking. They found a way to get big stops. I feel like defense has been so good at home so far. BYU Slovis is they kind of picked us apart in the first half, but they figured it out second half and defense was great. So even if the defense does struggle on a Saturday, I think the staff is so good that they'll make the right adjustments. This staff, I could do an hour-long podcast on the staff, but they are so fucking good.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to do one more thing before we wrap up. We love I love V-Turn just never wants it. V-Turn would go for 5 hours.
We have to talk about a massive look-ahead matchup.
No, I know. So
we got a few weeks ahead. We're on to Stillwater.
But this is what I'm getting at. So I want to run 2 scenarios. What are we saying on this podcast next week if KU goes in and beats Oklahoma State? Let's say we win 31-24. Just a pretty easy win. Maybe it's tight in the fourth, but we win the game. And we come on this pod next week. We're probably ranked in the top 20. We are 6-1. We have a bye week coming. We're officially either amped about Jason Bean being really good, or we're amped about the fact that Jalon Daniels now has a bye week and could be back. Like, I guess I want to hear, what are we going to be saying at that point? But then I also want to hear the other side of it. What are we going to be saying if we lay an egg and lose to Oklahoma State? Like, when? I don't know. I think UCF, if we lose to UCF, I think you see a major meltdown from the fan base. I don't think it'd be fair to do that if we lose to Oklahoma State. I think the narrative may just be, hey, Oklahoma State's figuring it out. It's Gundy. It's Oklahoma State. This is what they do. But I don't know. Is a meltdown pending with a loss? And are we going to be crazy insane if we win with predictions on Arlington?
I mean,
11-1.
I think if they lose and Bean lays a stinker, I think, meltdown, because everyone will be asking about Jalon and wondering what could have happened with Jalon. But yeah, like you said, it's a 3-point spread. If you go in there and compete and lose, we want to win this game. Expectations have changed, but I don't think I would melt down. I guess it depends how it goes. I think going into the OU game, for 5-1 or 6-1, we're going to feel confident and kind of be like a who knows. But I feel like us three are kind of going to go into that game thinking we're going to lose. I'm not saying we're going to get blown out. And AB, maybe you're different, but I kind of just want to say, like, I can't think of a better time to have a bye week. And AB, maybe your top 10 ranked in the country was just a little too premature, and now maybe it's coming after they beat OU when we host College Game Day for the second straight year.
God, but you see,
that's why I love to do this, boys.
I know it was the 1-year anniversary of Game Day. Was it today or yesterday? But they're putting the little tweet. Hopefully, see you again very soon.
Oh, yeah,
almost like they may.
There's something.
The gears might be moving a little bit. KU football account or KU athletic account.
Like something like hope to be seeing you again soon. Like it's pretty obvious. If you just look at the games that weekend, it's pretty obvious.
There's one other good game.
We just call Oregon, right?
Yeah. And the only one that would scare me is Georgia, Florida, just because they probably want to get to Georgia. They don't play anybody this year, and that's just a big neutral site rivalry.
Which I think will definitely happen if we lose to Oklahoma State or
Tennessee, Kentucky.
OU.
Is that?
I don't know. Kentucky kind of just.
I'm so out on both of those. I'm so out on the middle of the SEC, boys. I just it's so annoying to me that.
It's awesome.
Well, no, this is just a rant that I just have. I've been saying this for years and years.
Middle of the SEC.
Yes, because that helps the top. And it's like, Ole Miss is not a good football team. Kentucky is not a very good football team. Tennessee is not very good. Florida's not very good. Mizzou, they're decent. LSU, I don't think LSU is very good. Their defense is awful. They have maybe the best quarterback in college football right now. And obviously that's going to win you games. I said maybe. Don't give me a little... and not, draft-wise. My point is if Kentucky beats... or Mizzou beats LSU beats Mizzou, because that's just what happens. LSU's going to fly up, and it's going to be like, oh, nice, and Mizzou's going to fall back down. But then it's going to be if Mizzou beats Kentucky, Mizzou's going to shoot way up, because the Kentucky win looks good, even though Kentucky hadn't played anybody. They're not very good. They're going to get... They just lost and got smoked to Kentucky or to Georgia. I'm rambling and going crazy because this just makes me so mad. But the middle tier of the SEC just gets so much automatic respect from preseason polls and all this, I don't want to say bias, but just like obsession with that conference. They're never really that good. And it's just like gives Georgia, oh, well, they didn't play a top 10 team this year, but you know what? They have 6 ranked wins because they beat Tennessee at home. And that's just stupid to me. It's really
is. Like you mentioned Florida, Tennessee, or Florida, Georgia. But even like you throw Florida, Tennessee on my TV, I'm just not even that interested in it.
No,
like
none of them.
They just don't move the needle like they did in like 2010 and those years. Like, I don't know.
And I know there was outrage when LSU was still in the polls with 2 losses. I know they lost at Ole Miss in a good game and Florida State, but a lot of people have even said if they were in a different league or different conference, they definitely wouldn't have stayed in the polls. I'm not saying the top 25 is everything at the end of the day, but just that literally describes the SEC right there. 3-2 team sticks in the polls.
There's no reason. This is just very broad college football now. I love it. Obviously, we think it's cool that we're ranked 23rd, and that's like kind of where we're going to be if we want to be ranked, unless we just have a dream season. But like, why do we have a top 25? Like, especially with college football, and I know they start doing this as the season goes on. Can't we just live with a top 10 or a top 15 or a top 18 with the 12-team playoff coming. Like, I don't know. 25 just seems
having a little number next to the name helps.
I know.
Ratings,
I get it.
Games.
I get it, but it's just like, I don't know. It just drives me a little bit crazy because those teams aren't very good, but they're credited the same as beating like a number 11 team at home.
I haven't.
It's like the quad one.
Thinking about that, but it makes sense.
I feel like we probably couldn't determine this off the top of our head. We'd probably have to look at games, but if we win Saturday and then you have a whole week off, there's obviously going to be ranked teams that lose this weekend and next weekend. What could we see Kansas being ranked around going into that Oklahoma game? Yeah, like a 15 spot, because you got, like I said, you got 2 weeks. If you win Saturday and then you're off, you're not going to drop in the polls. You're going to probably move inside at least the top 20. And OU's, they got UCF. They're going to run all over UCF. So they're in the top 5 right now. This could be like a top 5 versus top 15 at the booth for game day.
Yeah, I mean, I think our best case is probably I think we would have to absolutely have a statement type win over Oklahoma State to get close to top 15. I think most likely you'll see us at 18, 19. But also in that 2 week stretch, there's going to be teams that lose 1 or 2 games. So I don't know.
One more thing on that matchup, just, a little look ahead at Oklahoma's schedule. The week after KU-OU, and this worked so well for KU Texas, but the week after KU-OU is Bedlam. So maybe a little look ahead for them, even though Oklahoma State stinks.
And then I hate doing this, but
no, boy.
We don't believe in West Virginia, right?
Their schedule's soft.
Do we control our own destiny to play in Arlington?
No.
If we beat Oklahoma?
No, because there would be a 3-way tie, and then it's all sorts of tiebreakers if Texas and OU both go 11-1.
Part of me thinks, I'm not saying we're going to Arlington, but part of me thinks Texas losing that game could come back to hurt us.
I know. I had the same thought. Because then it'd be like a true tiebreaker game against Oklahoma. But also, I don't think there's going to be 3 Big 12 teams in like the top 8 in the country, all 11-1 going into. That would be insane.
I feel like, I know it's OU and Texas, so we just automatically assume they're a wagon, but I feel like both their schedules don't seem very tough.
I know.
Dude, West Virginia's schedule it's
insane. The Big 12 is so bad this year.
They get
so bad.
Win, Oklahoma State win, UCF win, BYU at West Virginia should be a win. Then they'll lose to Oklahoma. Then
it's West Virginia.
Then they play at Baylor. What a joke! This is the worst schedule I've ever seen in my life.
That is so bad.
West Virginia's going to Arlington.
To be honest, if it was OU or Texas versus West Virginia in the Big 12 title game, that game's 65-3.
Dude, that's crazy. I guess it's
a real shame.
Serious at all.
I haven't looked at this yet. I wanted to, but how many teams in the Big 12 got scheduled with both OU and Texas? Because it is a tough break. I know and we've benefited from this before. 07 probably doesn't happen if we don't get the easy half of the Big 12 South that year. But, boy, getting both of those teams and they're both being like top 10 teams, legit top 10 teams is pretty annoying.
Imagine getting that replacing that Texas game with literally Baylor team in the league, dude. And because we have OU and it's at Texas and we played both last year. So yeah, man,
I sneaky think, I don't know. So West Virginia doesn't like K-State either. I mean, even that, that would be such a game for K-State to win is West Virginia's hot and then K-State comes in and beats them. I feel like that's the thing K-State would do. What a joke.
Can we go through another thought experiment here? Read the rest of KU's schedule and tell me doesn't look super soft.
That's the thing. I just pulled up OU in Texas and you read it. It's all these teams stink.
Right.
But then I still feel like Tech and K-State are pretty good football teams. Right,
but they're both at home. All the worst teams we play are on the road. And
we have a top 5 team, but even thinking about Tech and K-State compared to West Virginia's schedule seems wild.
You know who kind of has a brutal, K-State still has to go to Texas Tech. They still got to go to Texas.
This weekend,
they still got to go to the booth. K-State is sneaky in bad shape. But also, I'm going to throw this out there right now. K-State's going to win in Austin. That's my official prediction.
I hope so. EMAW, baby.
I know. Like, I'm listening, or I'm sitting here looking at future schedules. My theory of K-State going in and beating West Virginia after West Virginia is hot. Like, I could have seen that happening if they were on the schedule. But now I'm like, they're going to beat Texas. That would be such a K-State move. Like, they lose to Texas Tech, or I don't know, they squeak by Texas Tech. The fan base is still melting down, and then boom, they go into Austin and win. They've done that with OU before. It would be a K-State move.
I will say it will be very fun to scoreboard watch if we are in the Arlington talk late in the year. Like, that's going to be a lot of fun. We talked about that last year, but
boys,
we're such
if we're truly going to be in the Arlington talk, we're not stopping there, because 11-1 of Big 12 champ, 12-1. You know where they're ending up? In the playoff. And we're going to be scoreboard watching Florida State and Michigan, Ohio, and see what happens, because the 12-1 Big 12 champion is going to be the 3 seed, and they're going to lose to the Michigan, Ohio.
I do want to say, yeah, I do want to say though, if we think we're the 3rd best team in the league, like, why can't we at least get our hopes up for Arlington? I know OU Texas likely going to be it. I get it, but if you think you're the 3rd best team in the league, why not?
I've got a tweet. Give me 30 seconds to find it, but I want to make sure you don't end the show before I do.
Yeah, I want to say, like, the fact that Lance Leipold and KU was a dog on Saturday against UCF, and you come out and beat them 51-22, I think is so impressive. Like, you just beat a team that people think could be one of the better teams in the league going forward, just because UCF's in Florida, but 51-22 at the booth as a 2-point dog, and you two numbskulls were nervous. It's so impressive.
We're underdogs.
I know, but that's so impressive to me. 400 rushing yards, you're a dog. UCF needed to win. You dominate from first snap.
I got the tweet, and then we can wrap it up. From known KU hater and KCSN colleague John Kurtz on Twitter.com, now known as X. This is good. And this is when I truly started to believe, KU's pretty damn good at football. Quote, yeah, there's no doubt who the 3rd best team in the Big 12 is. KU getting OU and Texas this year was a tough break, or else they could definitely be in Arlington. When people that normally will do anything to hate on KU start complimenting KU in a non-response, they just go to do it themselves, that is pretty telling, I think. And when I saw that, I was almost like, gave me the confidence boost I needed to be like, all right, I'm done laughing at possibilities with this team, because who knows?
Seriously, we've been doing it now for 2 years straight, and we laughed at ourselves for saying 4-0, 5-0 last year. We laughed at ourselves for saying 4-0, 5-1 this year. We're for real. Lance Leipold is incredible. But boy, after that last 5 minutes we just had, boys, we better freaking win this weekend in Stillwater. I will tell you that. If we don't, I will have this segment deleted off the airwaves for life.
Man, getting 2 teams that have been ranked in the top 5 this year seems pretty tough, but you play who you play. And I just wanted to say the booth was great Saturday. I thought it was the loudest the crowd has been all year. Everyone was engaged. Yeah, people left at halftime, but I'm fine with that when it's a blowout. Yeah. I'm not saying do it every week. You should still stick around, because we've seen UCF blow a 35-7 lead last week. So the BYU game, that frustrated me because it was tight. We were losing by 3, but UCF, I'll give them a pass. I tweeted after the game Saturday, KU fans, I don't know how much tickets are right now, but it would be so cool to see a lot of crimson and blue at T. Boone Pickens Stadium, whatever it's called, on Saturday. It's a 4-hour drive from the KC area. Go to the game. It's tickets for $20 when I looked Saturday. So it'd be so cool to see everyone together. It's hopefully seeing us go bowling for the 2nd straight year. We'd beat Oklahoma State for the 2nd straight year to go bowling. And like I said, we've been bowling back-to-back years, one time in program history. It's so insane to think about. We've been a football school for 100-ish years. I don't know what it is, but that's just so crazy to me. So we have a chance to do it again. Tickets are cheap. It's not a long drive at all. The game's at 2:30. Be over by 6. You can come back to KC, wherever you live, or obviously you can stay and party at Eskimo Joe's or something.
Yep. What he said. That's it. Appreciate you all for listening. We will be back next week for what I imagine will be an absolute banger of an episode if the Hawks go into Stillwater and win that football game. So we'll see you then. Have a good rest of the week and rock chalk.